What's bubbling, magical people? Welcome back to the Witching Hour with Miss Merlin, where we like to talk about all things witchy and magical. Your one-stop source for everything spellcasting, ascension, healing, tarot, mediumship, psychic gifts, spirituality, chakras, plant medicine, healing, nature, and much, much more. I'm Kimmy, aka Miss Merlin, High Priestess and Shamaness, medicine woman, psychic medium, and witch extraordinaire. So let's jump on our broomsticks, meet me in the Crystal Coven Room. Today's topic is paying homage to the moon. So we're going to talk about, Mel's back, by the way. Hi, Mel.
Hi everyone.
So we're going to talk today about the moon. And we're going to talk about kind of what's been going on astrologically right now. We are just coming to the close of a huge eclipse gateway, if you will, or portal, whatever you want to call it, that started way back in April. It's finally coming to a close right now with this full moon tomorrow. I forgot to check exactly what time she's full at. I will. I'll find out exactly, and I will.
It's actually this morning, 7:34.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're already in that energy.
Thank you. Okay, so we're already in it, even though it says the 17th, and today's the 16th. But yeah, it's gonna go full. So it will be. This is the Hunter's Moon as well, and it's in the sign of Aries, which is about action and fire. And yeah, it's gonna be disruptive, I feel, but in a good way.
For sure. We're being pushed forward.
Yeah,
that's what Aries is all about. You know, it's the first sign in the astrological wheel. So we're starting. It's almost like a beginning and an ending at the same time with this full moon.
Mm-hmm.
We're ending cycles of. That actually started last April in 2023.
Right.
So that whatever we needed to release then, whatever karmic cycles needed to be released, this is the full moon to do it. This is the end of that.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, and for those cardinal signs, as we discussed in the previous podcast, this is the wrapping up of like a 16-year karmic cycle. This is where Pluto is finally leaving. It is already stationed out of Capricorn, but it's moving now into Aquarius, and it moves into Aquarius. I think, is it November 16th?
I don't know the exact date, but I know it's November.
Yeah, it's around mid-November, around there. Anyways, around like a week before U.S. Thanksgiving. Ish.
Right.
But yeah, so this is huge for those cardinal signs, and that would be Aries, Capricorn, Libra, and Cancer. Because this is going to be the end to a lot of things. So things are going to be looking up, and you guys will be in your villain era, which we already discussed as being not going around being mean to people, just being okay with being the villain in someone else's story, right? If that keeps your peace, like just having strong boundaries and being a lot in your dark feminine energy. And that, again, not about gender. We have both of those energies within us, whatever gender we are. Okay. So that's your dark feminine. That's really using your intuition. And when you say dark feminine, people are like, it doesn't mean evil. Like, dark is not evil. It's not bad. Okay. These are just what is called the dark feminine qualities. It's, again, being okay with being the villain, not having to set the record straight or, tell your side of the story. Just, okay, let it go and move on. Like, I'm not giving my energy to that. Done. It's the not giving a single F energy.
No, it's very true. It's almost like being in your Lilith energy.
Exactly. Yeah. Great example.
It's embracing, it's just embracing the darker side of you, because not everything is love and light.
Right.
You know, there's a polarity, there's a duality to everything. You know, where there's light has to be dark as well.
Right.
So we have to embrace all aspects of ourselves, and there is some darkness in everything and everyone. So we have to be okay with that. And like you were saying, you know, we're always going to be a villain in somebody's story.
Yeah.
And be okay with it.
Yeah. Let's talk about Lilith for a minute. I love Lilith, and I love working with her. And a lot of people, if you had any type of religious upbringing, that teaches you to be afraid of Lilith, right? Because the Bible and all that say that Lilith was the first wife to Adam, and that she was bad and evil and all these things. And really, all she did was set boundaries with him. She wasn't submissive. She was her own person, and she made her own decisions. And patriarchy didn't like that. So they made this woman with boundaries, and in her power, they made her evil. Okay, that's where these things stem from. And like, look at that book. Take a look at it again. It's very, very gender biased. Okay, it's also a woman who's responsible for original sin. Like, come on now.
Yeah, it's true. Women have been villainized for years and years and years.
Yes,
it's true.
And that's what Lilith is a symbol of. That dark feminine energy, like you just brought up so beautifully there, because she is like the poster goddess for it in every way. You know, she stands in her power. She owns her sensuality as well. She knows the power that it holds, and she can yield it when it benefits her if she wants to. Just, you know, owning your power in every single way, in every aspect that society and everything else has ever taught you is bad, right?
Right.
Because, you know, anything that brings you joy or pleasure is bad or villainized in some way.
Right. Anytime we want to stand up for ourselves, we're bad, we're evil, we're...
Karens. I hate that as a default. Mm-hmm. Yes, Karens exist, and I don't like them either. But I also don't like automatically being thrown into that category. Right. When I am merely just standing up for myself and being like, no, you're not going to speak to me like that. Like, who? No. And then I'll get called. I'll get called and this has happened, so I'm using a quote here, a quote unquote screaming Karen. Like, what? Okay, first of all, I'm not screaming in any way. I'm just stating you're not talking to me like that.
Yeah. Yes, you know, when you're projecting your voice, you're screaming. That's what people say.
Well, yeah. Yeah. And that's what women have been accused of since the beginning of time. You know,
of course. The
women standing in their power were the ones who were accused of being witches and all these, you know.
Exactly.
Get rid of them. We can't have women thinking for themselves.
Oh, heaven forbid you do.
Yep.
Heaven forbid we get punished for it.
Yes. And as we've already talked about, like that is a worldwide theme that is happening right now, and it's showing up, manifesting very clearly in the election in the United States. Because look what is happening with the Republican or conservatives, right? They are trying really hard the last couple of years to take back all these rights that women and also people of the LGBTQ plus community that they already had. Right? That these things that we fought for, these equal human rights that we fought for to have. And now that's why it's kind of pivotal what's going on right now, and seeing that as a reflection. Because is this pattern going to repeat where we allow this just certain prototype of a human and everything outside this box is wrong to control everything and control everybody? And no.
Right.
No.
Right. Well, clearly with Pluto going into Aquarius,
yes,
we're in the dawn this is really the age of Aquarius, is
Yes.
when Pluto does go into Aquarius,
Mm-hmm.
because that 19-year period is going to be massive, massive change in every area, personally, collectively,
Yes.
globally. It's just, we're going to be seeing things and doing things and thinking about things that have never been thought about, done,
Mm-hmm.
or said, whatever. Like, we're all just going to go through this huge transformation, and it's going to be quite intense.
Yes. And as we were talking about before, to roll it back to when we were speaking about, you know, the two types of energies, dark energy, light energy, as you can see, like, we're about to take collectively this next step up. So of course, that darker side is going to claw back and try to, you know, take back all these things and try to gain back control. It's not going to work, but this is what we see playing out. Right? So it's kind of interesting when you put, you know, that kind of perspective, you know, worldwide perspective on things that are happening. And this all kind of comes back to what we're talking about with the moon, the kind of this rise of being comfortable being in the dark feminine energy. And you don't have to just be one of those cardinal signs that we were talking about earlier to be doing that. Right? I find there's a lot of women, and I love to see it, who are becoming more empowered within themselves, and they're taking back their power, and they're standing up for themselves, and they're using their voice collectively.
Right.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, it is. It's very representative of what is happening in the cosmos. I mean, our nodes are Libra and Aries. I mean, Libra is all about how we see ourselves in relationship, versus Aries, which is more of a independent, autonomous energy. How do we see ourselves as far as being our own leader and not being codependent, but being independent?
Right.
So when the changing of the nodes occurs next year, there's going to be this huge shift into a Virgo Pisces axis, which is where the nodes are going to shift to. And so we're going to go from this energy of where do we see ourselves as far as me versus us, to a more, now how do I want to shift my world around me, material versus spiritual, or just bringing the material into a spiritual way to think about things. And that's going to be really, really interesting, and it's already beginning. Like, the energy is already shifting into that place.
Yeah.
So this full moon is really going to activate that beginning.
Yeah. And again, I'm really feeling that, you know, because it's just like the cycles of the moon. It gets dark at the new moon, right? And then we wax up to the full, right? Big illumination. And speaking of that, this is the biggest supermoon of the year, this one that's happening. And it's going to, in some places, have that very Halloween-y orange hue to it.
Yes, it does. I saw it last night. Oh my goodness, it was orange. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I saw it for a little bit last night too. I was coming home. I was driving home, and it was just like right there. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, it's the closest moon this year to us. That's why it seems so much bigger and brighter.
Right. Yeah. That's why you'll also be noticing you might be experiencing, you know, heightened emotions. We often do with full moons anyway, but super moon, because it's a little closer, you know, you have to think about it this way. If the moon is powerful enough to affect the tides, you know, which we know it does, then of course it's going to affect us as humans, because most of our body is made of water as well. Okay. And fluid. So yeah, but it on an emotional level, I really feel this like detoxing. Spirit is showing me in my mind right now like a sponge being wringed out. And that
Right.
water energy to me is like emotion, right? So we want to bring out that
Yes.
sponge of the old emotion. So it's like there's going to be kind of an emotional detox going on here. So don't be surprised if, you know, there's crying that happens, some sort of release. There may be some anger. Yeah.
Right.
I'm getting like PMSy type symptoms. That's kind of what I'm being shown right now. So anyone who's ever experienced that, you know, irritability, the kind of
Right.
feeling kind of bloated and just ick and fatigue, you know, and I love the full moon. I love it so much. But every month I get a full moon over. And I'm just so tired and just feel so drained and feel hungover. That's what it is. Yeah.
That's funny. See, for me, I get more energetic with the full moon because my personal moon is a waning gibbous, which is the phase right after the moon is full and it's starting to lose a little bit of its illumination. That is my personal, we all have a personal moon phase that we were born into. So mine is the waning gibbous. So it's about 70% illumination when it's my personal moon. And so since I feel energy a couple of days beforehand, by the time it's full moon, I'm already into my phase of the moon energetically. So that's when I'm feeling most empowered.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling really good. Only problem is my energy level is higher. So my sleep pattern is off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where it's funny.
Yeah. And I'm like that leading up to it and on it. Like the full moon day, I have a ton of energy, but it's after it.
Right.
Like that's what why I call it that full moon over. But that's interesting because like that is my moon phase. So tell me I wasn't destined to be a witch. I had a birthmark that resembles a witch flying on a broom on my elbow. I was born under a full moon on a Saturday, which is the most magical day of the week.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was born on Christmas Eve to boot.
I know. You have an awesome birthday. I love your birthday. Cool.
So tell me I was not born to be magical.
Oh, you definitely were, for sure. With all the knowledge that you have about all these witchy things, oh yeah, you're definitely a witch. Witch.
So interestingly enough, you know how we were just talking about emotions running high? So I just cut the deck because I thought at some point we would maybe pull some moon cards for you guys going into this energy, right? And I cut the deck and look what I got, Mel. Emotions are running high. Super moon.
Super moon card. Ooh.
Yes. So confirmation. All right. I'm also getting my throat's getting scratchy right now as I sit here and a little bit sore. So try to maybe control any sharp words that you might say in those emotions. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You know, because Aries rules the head.
Yeah.
What I've been feeling is like a migraine pressure kind of thing. So that may be something, anything to do with sinuses, head pressure is going to be very common for people who are sensitive.
Yeah, throat's connected to that
energy.
too. Yeah, ears and throat.
Right,
Yeah.
and as far as the emotional stuff is concerned, we have a T-square actually. We're square. The moon is square Pluto right now, but it's also square Mars, which is in Cancer.
Right.
So that push-pull, that almost like you're fighting with yourself and willing to fight with others because of the Aries energy in the full moon. So like you were saying, be careful and be cautious about what you say and how you address people.
Yeah,
but
I'm
also
just...
how you address yourself.
Yeah.
What you're saying out loud to the universe. This is a very powerful time of manifestation because the veil is so thin, being that we're getting closer and closer to Halloween. So we have to be careful about what words we speak to ourselves and to others.
Yeah. I'm getting like they keep saying the word sharp tongue.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So like cutting words, just that impulse, like the speak without thinking. Yeah.
Right. Lashing out.
Yes. Yeah. From that place of emotion, right? And that's one thing I'm finding a lot of people are putting to rest here with this. That's been a long karmic cycle for them is that, you know, that acting and reacting or lashing out from that place of wounding. Because I find more and more people are doing the healing, which is wonderful because it really does improve every single aspect of your life. And I'm happy to see it.
Right. No, it sure does. This moon in particular is conjunct Chiron, which is still in Aries. So whatever the wounds are
wounded
that you're
healer.
trying to heal, this is a powerful time to like finally release those wounds.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I just keep getting that, like put some things to rest.
Right.
You know, just like the season right now, like they're showing me the flowers dying, which is really sad, but that's what the season is. Like frost is starting to come in, things are starting to die off, being put to rest, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm picking up on a lot of.
Yeah, it's an interesting time. It's a powerful time. It's a great time to release anything that no longer serves you for your highest good.
Yeah.
You know, whatever that may be, whether it's relationships that don't serve anymore, whether it's mindset, ways of thinking, feeling, being, behaviors, anything that you deem as karmic, that is just unhealthy, toxic, let it go. Let it go.
And I really feel like they're bringing me back to that image of the wringing out of the sponge again, right? And the water is emotion. So I really feel like a lot of this moon in particular is about releasing those old emotions, those old hurts.
Yes.
And that gets stuck in your body as energy as well. So it's always beneficial for that to leave as well.
Right.
But that's what I'm getting. And since this moon is in Aries is really uncomfortable in emotion. It's not definitely. That's not a comfy spot for Aries to be.
Very true.
Yeah, and what can happen? What happens sometimes when you mix fire with water? You get steam, right?
Yes.
So just watch the rage meter is that, again, I'm getting that, you know, flying off the handle from emotions running high.
Yeah.
Or reverting to those patterns of, like I said, acting and reacting from that place of wounding. Right.
Absolutely. You know, Aries is the planet that rules Aries is Mars, and Mars is about war. It's about passion. It's about intensity and power. So especially if you have a fire sign Mars, and then you have like maybe a water sign moon, that's a really tough combination because your fire doesn't know what to do with emotion.
Exactly. You're constantly at odds with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how it is for me. I'm an Aquarius sun, but my Mars is Aries and my moon sign is Scorpio. So I have intensity, and the other planet that rules Mars, well, the planet that is ruled by Scorpio is Mars as a secondary planet. So there's a lot of intensity when it comes to emotions for me. So when my Scorpio moon is activated with the Mars energy, with Aries energy, it's like I don't know what to do with myself sometimes.
Yeah, I can relate to that, definitely.
Yeah.
So my moon sign is Gemini, and my sun sign is Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. But I'm also on the cusp of Sagittarius. So I have hurricane energy plus fire in there. Water and wind.
Sag is fun though. I love Sag. I love Sag placements. That's my Jupiter. That's my Neptune. I
Yeah.
love it. I think that people with Sag placements, they're so fun. They're so philosophical. They're so adventurous. They're so open to like anything. Like Aquarius, we're like open minded, and
Yeah.
Sag and Aquarius get along so well.
Yeah. 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 I think it really lightens the um
The
stableness.
depth of Capricorn.
Yeah. And the rigidity.
It helps to lighten up. Yeah.
Yeah. The rigidity of Capricorn and like the stableness, the Sagittarius part of me definitely like disrupts that. And
Yeah.
so does the Gemini moon. But it makes for a mix of crazy madness.
But don't you love that? I mean,
Yeah.
it's still great to have a mixed bag like that, right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Yeah, and if you guys don't know what's in your birth chart, just put it into Google. There's a couple different free sites out there that if you put in your birthday and where you were born and your time of birth, and time of birth isn't as necessarily important. So if you don't know that, it's not a big deal. You can still get your birth chart. So you put in those 3 pieces of information and it'll bring up your whole chart. So you'll know it. And it gives you a lot of insight. So it's definitely worth looking into for sure.
It is. It really gives you some really deep insight into your personality and the personality of other people. You can check other people's charts, and you'd be surprised the information that you find about yourself and other people.
Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true. Yeah, it gives you a better understanding of yourself for sure. And why you do some of the things that you do.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. There's a psychology to it too.
Yeah. So it goes along with anybody who's ever been interested in psychology or human behavior or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. That's for sure. That's why I've always loved astrology so much. It's like my wheelhouse. I love it.
Yeah. It's always great to have you on here to talk about it. Because again, it's not my strongest subject. So I like to have.
Well, that's what you have me for.
It's true.
So, Kimmy, did you do anything special for your full moon yet?
Not yet. I will probably be putting something together. It usually comes to me intuitively the day of, and I decide kind of what I'm gonna do. If I'm going to do some certain kind of ritual, then what herbs that I want to include in it, what candle colors, what crystals, what incense, all those things kind of come to me, and then I'll look up what energies come along with those certain things. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, it all is pretty much time of. Like, I know, was it last month? I think it might have been last month that I did that live on Instagram with that healing session.
I think it was last month.
Yeah, the full moon. Yeah, that, I was not planning that at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the spirit was like, okay, so we have an idea.
Right.
And that's kind of how it happens.
and it was a very appropriate for a Pisces full moon anyway to do that. Wasn't it Pisces?
It was a harvest
Pisces
moon too. Yeah.
It was very appropriate.
Yeah. But like I said, like that was not planned at all.
Right.
That was a spiritual nudge, if you will, or like elbow to the ribs, if you will.
That was more like do it or else.
Yeah. And that, like, I had maybe about an hour's notice on that one.
Right.
It was like, yeah, you might want to get yourself ready because we want you to do this, and the light level's getting low. So your timing, you're gonna have to do this pretty soon here. So,
your window of opportunity to be seen by everyone.
yes.
It's shortening. It's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
But it was beautiful too. The temperature was beautiful and everything too. It was awesome.
It was. It was a beautiful thing. I mean, I remember being part of that, watching you do it. And it was really, really, I mean, you looked the part of goddess and you just did such a beautiful job with it. It was really great.
Thank you.
You know your stuff.
I try. I just pray that everyone got benefit from it, for sure.
I know I did.
Aw, thank you.
I did, definitely. I think that because this is a full moon in a fire sign, I think that one of the things that might be very helpful for people, if they really do want to do the release work, is to write down what they want to release and just burn it.
Burn it, yeah, outside, yeah. That's alchemy right there, guys.
Right.
Writing it down, setting the intention, and then setting it on fire and giving the ashes back to Mama Gaia. Yeah. And I think it's going to be nice weather for that too. Like, I know that it's been chilly here for the last couple of days, but the temperature today and for the next 4 days, I think, is supposed to be sunny and back in the close to 20. And that's Celsius. So that's still pretty warm.
Right.
Definitely t-shirt weather, which will be nice.
Here in the Northeast, it's beautiful. It's sunny, but it is chilly.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to get warmer later on this evening, and for the next couple of days, it's supposed to go back into the 60s and the 70s. So I think that's about your time. Your temperature Celsius to 20, 21, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. I love when it's nice at this time of year too. And it's not just dreary, cold, rainy days all the time, because it's so beautiful. Right. Like where I live is one of the most beautiful places in the world if you enjoy fall with all the colors. And it's a gorgeous place. And where I live personally, there's a lot of lakes and stuff around. So a lot of I'm blessed to live in a really, really beautiful place. Yeah.
Very scenic.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really like the winters all that much, but it's too long. But other than that, I do really like it here. I'm looking out into my backyard right now and it's just beautiful. Just absolutely just alive with color. There's orange and yellow and this deep, vibrant red that we're seeing this year, which is awesome. There usually is, but it just seems to be more vibrant for some reason.
Right. Yeah, it's not too shabby here in New York. It's beautiful out my window. There's these beautiful golds and reds and oranges, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful time. This is my favorite time of the year.
Yeah, I love it. I love summer too, though. I am a warm weather person for sure. But I do really enjoy fall. And we just had our Thanksgiving last weekend, Canadian Thanksgiving. So
yes, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yes, thank you. So I don't usually decorate my outside and stuff until after this weekend for Halloween. Because we have, like I said, we have Thanksgiving first. And plus, you never know what the weather's going to be like here either.
Right.
So we can't, we can go full out with certain things in our yard, but we've gotten snow here in October before and things like that. So in warmer places that don't see that kind of weather, it's easier for you guys to have stuff outside that doesn't get wrecked, like your cobwebs and all that. So there's a couple of things I don't do until the day of or the day before, depending on the forecast and the wind and that. But I'm going to be doing some of that decorating today. So that'll be fun, bringing in those Samhain energies, which I love. This is one of my favorite times of year for sure.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun time. No matter what you believe or how you celebrate, it's just fun. It's fun to dress up and be something that you've always wanted to, or just to be different, and it's more received by society because it's Halloween time.
Yeah.
So, you can really be your authentic self, and people think that you're just pretending.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so fun.
it's true. It's true. I will never forget, like, speaking and paying homage to the moon that's going to happen tonight. When I can't even remember how old I was. I was little. But I remember trick-or-treating, and I was coming home and walking down the hill back down towards my house. And it was one of those huge harvest moons. And it was or not harvest moons, hunter moons, so orange. And just so mystical and Halloween-y and creepy. And it was on Halloween night. And I was dressed up as a witch. And I was little, like I'm thinking like 7 or 8 or something like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just a very, very powerful moment for me. It always sticks out in my memory.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. You were being your authentic self and you didn't even know it.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of me being my authentic witch gear, if you're in my area on October 27th, starting at 6:30, I'm going to be at Picnic Tapas and Wine, 140 Mississauga Street in Aurelia. I'm going to be reading some cards, and the beautiful Cara Futurelli Zona is going to be doing the mixology. She's going to be doing some mocktails and cocktails. So come and join us. Costumes are optional, of course, but it'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun. I wish I was going.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Yeah, and then coming up too, I have the amazing Mandy May Cheatham coming on. Not sure if it'll be next week or if we'll record it next week and I'll put it up the following week. But if you guys are not familiar with Mandy, she and I have known each other a very long time. We used to cheerlead together in high school. So a lot of years. And she has recently been promoting her new single that she made with Keith Shock Lee from Public Enemy. And we are going to be talking about that single, Never Too Late, and about the message of it, the female empowerment, because Mandy is in her 40s, like myself, and she is just getting there now, getting noticed, getting discovered now. And it's never too late. And I love that message. And she's going to be on here, and we're going to be talking about that and about manifesting and how she got where she is. So that's going to be a really, really fun time.
Oh, yeah. I look forward to listening to that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. We haven't seen each other in person, and I'm not going to say how many years. We've followed each other and kept in touch and stuff via social media and that. But yeah, it's going to be fun for sure. So I just started shuffling the moon cards here, and I got full moon eclipse. See that?
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we were just talking about that eclipse energy coming to a close, right? And the message of this card is conclusions are within reach. And if you look at the coloring, can you see that, Mel, on this card?
I can.
It's orange. Yes. Yeah, like this moon that we're talking about. So that's interesting. And as you guys know, I already cut the deck once and got the emotions running high card. So again, just validating what we were talking about of what's to come with this supermoon. Don't be afraid of it. Always enjoy the moon. But just be aware that these things could possibly happen. And I was actually glad, and I wanted to acknowledge that you said something about the head pressure, because I've been experiencing that the last couple days. And it feels like my sinuses, but it's not my sinuses. Like I'm breathing fine and my sinuses are clear, but I feel this energy of clogged up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have been getting that. Yeah. So that just validates that for me. So thank you. So hopefully that validates any other experiences you guys are having out there. And of course, other ascension symptoms may apply as well. Right. They're giving me chills, maybe getting more sensitive, getting more goosebumps, or actual getting the chills. I'm getting that,
Right.
like the temperature regulation of the body. Like 1 minute I'm hot, the next minute I'm cold, but I'm not sick. That type of thing. We talked about the sore throat and all the stuff that's happening, and ear, nose, and throat stuff already. Head pressure. Yeah.
It could be fatigue. It could be fatigue,
Yes.
or it could be just a burst of energy.
Yeah.
It could be either one, but either way, it's going to swing intensely, no matter what it is you feel. So, it's just the energy. That's all it really is.
Yeah.
Either you're going to be really energetic and then maybe get really tired afterwards.
I have a crash. So,
yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the energy.
Just grab your astrological surfboard, right? And just, surf the wave instead of getting pummeled by it.
Exactly. Embrace it and just ride it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm pulling another card here. Okay. So we got cardinal moon too, and we were talking about the cardinal signs. So I have here, be bold and make the first move. So that's kind of the energy we're going to be in as well, because that Aries energy is sometimes about action, and sometimes action without thinking about it first. Okay.
Right.
So that might help you to take that leap of faith and help you move beyond a certain fear to what it is you're being pushed to do, right? Leap of faiths are scary, and I've said this numerous times before, but our nervous system will always choose that familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven.
Right.
Right? Because even though it's hell, it's still familiar. We know what's going to happen with it. Right? So we have to get over that kind of fear there, and be willing to take that leap forward, even though it could be frightening. Oh my God. Work through your fears.
Oh, look at that.
Instant validation of exactly what I was just talking about. Thank you, Spirit.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, there's two more that just kind of flew out like that. Let's see. Okay. So, don't let pride get in your way. So again, those energies of kind of like watch your communication, but also don't let pride get in your way of taking a leap of faith that may be more emotion orientated is kind of what I'm feeling here. Mm-hmm. I feel like, and we got the adjustments are required card too, and I feel like that's an adjustment and balancing, because it's like half moon, right? Half the moon is illuminated, half is dark. So that whole balance of that whole light and dark there. Mm-hmm. So you just have to try to balance yourself, right? Know that, like we were talking about, the emotions could be running high, and you could be facing some fears here with this moon. That might bring up some fears here, so you can face them and let them go. Yeah, so just a little bit of balancing required. So if you can, and we were talking about the weather, get outside as much as you can. Spend some time in that beautiful weather and beautiful scenery, if that's what you're lucky enough to have around you. Now, look, I was shuffling and that came out again. So just another reminder, supermoon, emotions are running high.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And don't let that also, because emotions are running high, intensify your fear and keep you from taking that leap of faith, right? So that could be another thing that's coming up with that moon. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. And isn't the Fool card in the tarot a representation of Aries? Anyway?
Yes. Yeah, taking that leap of faith. We have a win-win outcome as forecast here. And this is the full moon in Libra. And we are in Libra energy right now, even though the full moon is not happening in the sign of Libra. But it's got here with the scales, right? Yeah. So things are balancing. And we were talking about, finally releasing long karmic cycles here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting that these cards are coming out.
I would have to agree. The energy is gaining momentum. All right. So what I'm feeling here is, Yeah, things that have been stuck or have felt maybe stagnant are going to start moving forward pretty quickly here. Things are definitely...
Especially if you're doing the work.
Yes.
If you're doing the work and you're letting go and releasing the things that are keeping you stagnant, and just doing the healing work, you're going to move forward. The momentum is going to pick up, and your life will change.
Yeah. And we were just talking about that, like things picking up at timing wise. And I just got this next card here. You're very close to achieving your goal. Yeah. And this is the gibbous moon. So the moon almost at full illumination, which is what it's at right now. It's at like 98 or something %. And then it'll go to full at like 7 something in the morning, I think you said. Yeah, it's already there. It's already full. Your commitment is being tested.
Of course. Isn't it always?
Yep. So your commitment to yourself, your commitment to your work, your commitment to, letting things go that are holding you back.
Right.
Yeah. Often we have this allegiance that we make to our pain, and we don't even realize that we've made it,
Yeah. Pain can become our comfort zone.
Yeah. And that's where we come across that choosing, right? We're saying, like, instead of reacting from that old pattern, we're going to choose now that unfamiliar heaven that we really don't know the outcome of.
Right.
But we're going to choose that instead. Choosing to
take that leap of faith.
Yes. Yeah. I cut it again, and we're back to the win-win outcome is forecast. So whatever it is that you're trying to manifest for yourself, things are going to start to balance out in your life here. Okay. So just have to trust that. As you balance yourself, the more you balance yourself, the more you're going to see your outer reality become more balanced.
Yes.
Yeah. And my eyes were just pulled up to the time, which is 12:12 on my clock right now. So number confirmation there, if you want to look that up.
Moving forward.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
So I think that is really great. And I think we said all we wanted to really say for today. So maybe we'll leave it there for today. What do you think, Mel?
Yeah, I think we're good. Everybody enjoy the full moon energy and let go of what doesn't serve you anymore. Yeah.
And take some time to go outside and take some time to appreciate yourself. Appreciate that dark feminine energy within you that helps protect you, by giving you the strength to use your voice and set those boundaries and stand in your power.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So just honor the moon one last time here as we say goodbye. And thanks as always for everyone who's joining us, for returning listeners and any new listeners who are out there. We appreciate and we're grateful for all of you. And thanks again, Mel, as always, for always, coming back at a moment's notice. And
yes, it's always fun to be here. And if I have the time and my schedule allows, I will come. Keep coming back every time you invite me.
Well, I love having you here. I always think it's so much more fun when we have guests to talk about things with, like I'm fun on my own, of course. And when I have to share is interesting, but it's always more fun to share a laugh. So again, Thank you all for being here. And thanks again, Mel, for being here. As always, it's been wonderful.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm reminding all of you guys that it is now your chance to make your own magic. Okay? Miss Merlin wishing you so much love. Stay magical, guys.